Before our journey to Glacier National Park and the advent of fall and winter, we visited Cumberland Gap National Historic Park for one more summer camping trip right on the border of Tennessee, Virginia, and Kentucky. And this time, we were joined by Robby's cousin on the other side of his family and our good friend, Danny.
It was a classic summer backpacking trip, though not without its hiccups. Join us as we embark on this journey through these historic southern woodlands.
Danny, how you feeling so far?
Fantastic. I'm ready to get out there and look at the grass and trees, leaves.
You want some donuts?
Yeah!
Okay, so next we've got a 20-minute drive to the end of our trailhead. Then we're all gonna pile into this car and a 10-minute drive to the start of the trailhead. Everybody ready?
After meeting up in the Park Visitor Center in Kentucky, we headed east.
Fluffy, hazy clouds hung in the sky. We were excited to get out of the car, but the humid air and the potential for rain gnawed at the back of our minds.
Nonetheless, it was an undeniably beautiful summer day, and we were excited to explore those distant tree-covered hills.
As we neared our trailhead, we entered a residential area, and our GPS directed us right into someone's driveway.
Yeah, it does say to go up that way.
Google Maps must be inaccurate, so let's continue up this way. There was 100% signs for Chadwell Gap Trailhead, so yeah, go up here and then let's just go a little bit more and see if it shows up.
We drove on and eventually made our way to the ending trailhead. Now, it was time to consolidate into one car and make our way to the starting point of our hike.
We headed east, then north up to the Civic Park trailhead, getting a glimpse of the distant white rocks along the Whale.
Finally, we parked and got our gear together. It was a hot, late summer day, but we were excited to get on the trail.
Is everybody feeling?
Fantastic. A little warm.
Hopefully that breeze keeps rolling through.
We're gonna get in those dense trees and we will feel no breeze.
It was a little worrying driving in on the left side. You just see this big mountain. We're definitely going to the top of that today. But we're front loading the pain. There will be no more uphill after that.
We headed out and checked the trail map to review our plans.
Starting here?
From the trailhead, we would hike up to the White Rocks Overlook and stay at the nearby campsite. Then we would head west, camping another night, then checking out some interesting landmarks before heading out.
On our way to the trail, we passed by a well-constructed picnic shelter. But now, it was time to hike.
The woods were lush with greenery, and I already spotted a unique plant.
So it's super summery right now. We're in this very familiar Appalachian sort of landscape. And I'm already seeing these, which are sorrel trees.
So these are different from the clover-looking sorrels.
Yeah, but I think the acid in them, oxalic acid, is the same. Or at least they taste very similar, so.
As we continued hiking, I saw another tree often found in the southern Appalachians.
So this is a magnolia tree, and you can see it's got these massive leaves. Magnolias grow even in Ohio, but they're typically associated with the South. I feel like they look very tropical, and I feel very tropical right now because I'm oozing sweat. But also down here, we've got some pawpaw trees. And right next to it is a hickory tree. And a lot of times these two trees are confused with each other because the shape of the little leaflets are very similar to the pawpaw leaves. But if you look more closely in the way that they grow, you can tell the difference.
Where are the fruits? Are these not big enough?
I've been looking, I've seen some trees, but I haven't seen any fruits yet, but I'm hoping we'll find some at some point.
The trail led us uphill, taking us by sights that almost seemed curated to have captured the essence of summer.
combination of the incline and the heat left us feeling pretty muggy.
Are you guys sweating as profusely as I am right now?
I'm pretty sure the front of my shirt's already, yep.
Okay.
It's nice and damp.
Up ahead, we came to a junction.
So we're going this way. I think this is just like a forest road.
Nearby, Andrew spotted a large mushroom.
So this, I think, is Berkeley's Polypore. It usually grows at the base of big trees like this that are dying or already dead. And in part because of that, it's often confused for another edible mushroom called hen of the woods. But yeah, this mushroom is actually edible. And this one definitely is a little bit older because it's hardened up a bit and there's a bunch of holes in it with bugs, but it's a super cool thing to see. Another common lookalike for hen of the woods is called black staining polypore, which, as the name implies, would turn black after it gets old. But if you find a slightly fresher specimen of this Berkeley's, then you can cut the margins off that are more tender and use those in like stir-fried dishes and whatever else you want to do.
Further along the trail, we spotted a purple flower called downy lobelia, a plant in the bellflower family.
We continued on, and the incline combined with the muggy air was definitely getting to us.
I hate that between trips. I just get out of shape again.
We're gonna have to like find a clothesline or something and hang all of our clothes up to just dry overnight.
Yeah.
It's just gonna rain all night long.
The trail briefly flattened out as we passed by a large sandstone boulder.
Every now and then on this trail, we get these nice little reprieves of flat ground. And it is every bit as moist as it looks out here. And these are so nice.
I feel like I'm going so much faster. Because I have more speed, I have more wind. And the wind is drying out my moisture.
So there's some chicken of the woods growing on this log. It's also covered in false turkey tail. But you can actually see some older chicken of the woods, and then there's a bright orange growth of really fresh new stuff. Looks tasty.
I feel like this trail is alternating between really difficult and extremely nice.
Always the first day is just like, man, I can't wait to lay down in that tent. Especially if you had to travel that same day.
Oh, yeah.
The trail continued along a flat path for a while. We passed by more flora, including the smooth yellow false foxglove.
Then, the trail again climbed uphill. As we made our way upwards, Andrew spotted several more plants.
Earlier we were talking about that sour tree or sorrel tree, and how
Yeah.
it tastes kind of like an apple peel or whatever. And you said you used to eat these 4-leaf clovers.
I only ate the ones with 4 leaves.
Right. My secret shades. I don't know why, but shamrocks are always drawn to look exactly like this. But these are in the genus Oxalis, and they're actually technically not clovers. These ones are pretty big, but there's all sorts of different species, but they all have oxalic acid, which gives it that tangy taste. Kind of rub one of these leaves and smell it.
I smell nothing.
No. Try this one.
I'm gonna have to try a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that's very aromatic, like an IPA.
Aha,
I
actually,
am
that's a
thinking
really
of an
good answer.
IPA, yeah.
That's a good answer. I was gonna say Fruit Loops, but that's a good.
Nah, it's an IPA.
Well, we all know
I
how I
hate
feel about IPAs.
What is it?
Oh, this is. Yeah. So this is a spice bush, and actually, up in Ohio right now, these are already producing berries. They produce these red berries that kind of taste like black pepper. So if you are interested in herbalism or wild medicines, these frilly tops of this plant are really useful to look out for. This is called Heal All or Self-Heal, and it's in the mint family. It's just kind of like a general purpose remedy for headaches and indigestion and other ailments like that. This one's a little bit older and browning, but sometimes earlier in the season you'll see these bright purplish pink flowers growing from it.
It looks like we're kind of cresting the hill here.
I think from the car, it looked way more intimidating.
I think it's a lot easier to downplay how high you're really going whenever constantly on your left and right all you see is really thick foliage. You'll eventually hit a clearing and you realize, oh my god, how have I gotten this high in the night?
We are at 1.3 miles out of 3, and we have 1,761 feet total elevation today.
A quick research showed that the World Trade Center is actually 1,776 feet tall. So we are basically very slowly climbing the entire elevation of the One World Trade Center. So that's exciting.
That's very funny that it's exactly the same.
Right, yeah. They modeled this mountain after the World Trade Center, right?
Yeah,
That's how that
surely.
works.
We passed by a red-spotted newt, and I saw another fragrant plant to show Danny.
So this plant with the dinosaur foot-looking leaves,
Mhm.
give one of those a rub and tell me what you think. It's poison ivy. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to rub it on you. Okay, so that one's a lot more citrusy. And I would argue that one's closer to Fruit Loops than the other one was.
So this is sassafras, which is one of the plants, including sarsaparilla, that used to be used to make root beer.
Oh.
They stopped using it because it also gives you liver cancer. So.
Maybe we don't make our soda with that anymore. It's insane the things that we got away with in the past. Like, oh, you got ghosts in your blood. You should do cocaine about it.
We also saw a blue-stemmed goldenrod and an American spikenard.
As we hiked, we noticed a distinct drop in the temperature, and the forest seemed to be dimmer than before.
Does it feel like rain, or is it just getting dark?
Yeah, according to this, we're still good until about 10 o'clock. It'll rain for about an hour, starting around 10.
Since the forecast seemed promising, we stopped for a snack.
What'd you guys bring snack-wise?
Kid snacks.
Danny stole those from his 4-year-old daughter.
Look, man, she wasn't gonna eat them, okay? What you gonna do, stop me? She's 4.
Well, I'm gonna eat them too, so technically we both stole them.
I bought these Quest protein bars because they actually make these like really good Rice Krispie tasting bars. And then when I opened the box, I realized that these are actually those horrible gooey protein bars, you know?
Oh.
The kind that nobody likes.
I've got my standard assortment of granola and beef sticks.
So despite being white chocolate raspberry, this bar is tan colored. What do you think?
Well, they're good, right?
No, good.
Anyone want to trade?
We're testing out here.
It actually is like, no, I'm good.
We have plenty.
It actually is way better than I thought it would be. I think my opinion of these sorts of protein bars has been misshapen by the fact that I had been eating like several years old Costco protein bars like this. How's everyone feeling so far?
Feeling okay.
Yeah, pretty moist, but otherwise it's
Yeah.
a very nice trail.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I like how uncrowded it is.
Yeah, there's been, what, we passed 2 groups total? Or 3?
Groups total, maybe like 6 people total. 7 total.
We were about halfway through today's hike, with 1.5 miles left to go.
Up ahead, we saw clumps of vines sprawled across an opening in the woods.
So it looks like this is an area where some trees died off and exposed this section to a bunch of sunlight, which is why all these vines are growing. After getting a close look, I'm pretty relieved because it looks like that's mostly just grapevine, which is a native growing plant. During our drive in, we were seeing trees just covered in a vining plant called kudzu, which is a vining plant that's invasive from like East or Southeast Asia, which is actually in the pea family and totally edible, but it's all over the South. Thankfully here, there's only native plants from what I've seen.
Any water up here?
It doesn't look like it yet.
I don't think I've seen a single source of water yet, which is a little worrying.
If we don't find water soon, we could get thirsty.
Or worse.
I feel like after it rains, there's got to be some, right?
I mean, if there was gonna be water, this is where it would be, right?
Yeah, I think so.
With how humid it felt, we were taken aback by the lack of water. Later on, we came to another clearing on the trail.
So I suspect this is another area that's had some exposure to sunlight since it's a bit open. And growing here is a burdock plant. We've seen this before, but usually you find these in lawns or meadows, and the leaves can get really, really big. They're little burrs here. They have tiny hooks on them that hook onto your clothes, and that's actually what inspired Velcro. This is also in the culinary world called gobo. It's an ingredient found in a lot of Japanese food.
Did you know that? You are sweating.
I'm sweating so much.
You are sweating your gobos.
We also saw a white-tailed deer prancing away nearby.
As we climbed in elevation, we saw openings in the canopy where the view of the distant hills were less obscured. Nearby, there was also an edible fruiting plant.
So down here we see a plant called false Solomon seal. It has this zigzag pattern of leaves and these long ovate leaves. And at the end there's a cluster of berries, and they're kind of like white and speckled, but the really ripe ones are completely red. These berries are actually edible. I'm just gonna eat one a little bit. A little bittersweet, but they have the texture of like a crisp apple or grape type fruit. Kind of refreshing, but definitely have a little bit of bitterness to it.
There were also these great blue lobelia flowers.
We checked our progress to see how much we had left to hike.
So I was looking at our GPS, and it looks like the campsite is a little bit farther than we anticipated. I thought the White Rocks Overlook was where the campsite was. That's like a mile to the east. So considering how fast it's getting dark, we probably want to hurry just a little bit.
I'm also a little concerned about these areas that look like they should have water, especially after rain, and there's not.
Do we have any kind of sophisticated solution to a tree water? No.
I mean, Savage Golf we found a lot of dry ones and then one that was randomly running. So
Yeah.
I think as we get higher up, there might be some there.
We could maybe make that work if we really needed to.
We could always Bear Grylls it.
Whoa. Man.
Absolutely incredible.
Although there was a dearth of water, the trail did treat us to even more views of the surrounding landscape. Still, the view was partially obscured by the canopy, and we were excited to see it from a better vantage point.
We got just about 1 mile to the White Rocks Overlook, and then after that, it's probably like half a mile back to the campsite.
Here, we saw another red-spotted newt. We continued uphill, hiking past more boulders and stopping occasionally to hydrate.
Did you know that if you close your water bladder and try to drink, you don't get much water?
Finally, we were getting close to the Overlook.
Trail junction up ahead.
Sweet. Yeah, 0.2 miles. Is it up this guy here?
Yep, to the right.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
There wasn't much left to hike, but the trail started getting even steeper than before.
Almost there.
Steps.
Danny, I would say that weather conditions and trail difficulty, this is actually on the harder end of what we do.
Good.
We've got some oyster mushrooms growing on this log here.
Andrew, don't worry about it. I got this one. Andrew was right. We do have mushrooms of the oyster variety, but these are actually where the inspiration for oyster crackers made by Premium come from. Now, what you don't know is these mushrooms, every single one of them, have more vitamin C in it than a cup of spruce tea.
What's that quote that Luke says? Wow, everything you just said is wrong.
We also saw a fruiting fairy bell plant as we continued on the trail, passing through lush vegetation and climbing up the steep stone steps.
I think we're almost there. Once we get to the top of this ridge, there shouldn't be any more uphill. And then it's just 1,000 feet to the White Rocks Overlook. Danny, are we there yet? I said, Danny, are we there yet? Never mind. Oh my God, we're almost there. Oh, thank goodness. Oh my goodness.
So I thought that when we got to the top of this, it would be like the view. No, we got another 0.3 miles to go.
Yeah. Our campsite's 0.2 miles this way. The Overlook's 0.3 this way. Oh my God. That is a lot of uphill.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Aquaman because I'm so wet.
Nice and cool up here.
I'm wondering if my shirt isn't drying off because it's just so damn humid.
Oh, I can.
My shirt is just like completely saturated.
Yeah, same. So what's the plan, boys?
Take a 5-minute breather, get up to White Rocks, revel in the beauty, come back, set up tents. There's a honey roasted peanuts and cashews.
Oh,
You
man,
learn.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good combo. Okay, I'm gonna need some.
There we go. That's good.
I'm gonna need some Oliver Twist style too. That's good.
After a snack break, we hiked on, passing by a small chicken of the woods specimen.
As we hiked to the Overlook, we could see more of the view in the distance.
On the way there, we also came across a giant sandstone structure.
Wow. Wow. Oh, you can tell we're getting higher in altitude because there's these rhododendrons and stuff. Yeah.
The path now led through a narrow opening between the large sandstone bluffs. The air was notably cooler in here.
There's a nice musty breeze going through here. It almost makes the uphill worth it.
From here, we scrambled up roots and rocks, and the forest began opening up, revealing the open sky and an incredible view.
Oh.
The view was stunning, and we enjoyed it with some snacks.
One of our viewers named Paige sent us this Beyond Meat jerky, plant-based, slow roasted and kettle cooked.
I don't think I've ever had anything in a kettle that wasn't good. It smells fantastic.
Oh man, yeah.
It smells really good.
Smells like actual barbecue.
Yeah.
Ting, ting, ting.
Come let us gingerly tink our tips.
Wow.
Wow,
Really good.
That was really good.
tastes just like it.
Well, that's not meat? That's fantastic.
This is an incredible view.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot get more picturesque and beautiful than what that is right there.
It is kind of amazing how the reward matched the tenuous
difficulty.
uphill. Yeah.
It's not always like that.
No.
So
I'm
it's
glad
nice
it is
that
this time. This is like perfect right now.
I mean, just look at those beautiful scarlet, pink hues. Touching the tip of those thunderheads. And you know that's like bad weather over there, and here we are. It's like perfectly peace and quiet.
Knock on rock.
Yeah, definitely. Having to sit now, feel like more energy coming back now. I'm like, okay, maybe eat.
You know how you can just sit and stare at a fire for hours on end because it's so mesmerizing, the way it moves and dances? This is similar for the exact opposite reason. How still and serene and just perfect it is.
Experiences like this just, it doesn't matter how many times you've seen this, it never gets old.
If you show this view to a single person and they aren't completely blown away,
You're probably living a better life than I am. This doesn't impress me.
this impresses you, peasant.
Thank you, Paige.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good.
Very good, it's delicious.
Bryan's granola and that stuff, I'm gonna like next time at the grocery store be looking for it.
Those nuts are good too, man.
Those are some pretty
Nuts.
That's a Schnucks custom as well. Hey, thank you guys for letting me finally come on one of these trips.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
100% worth it.
Long time coming.
It is actually a
Quite
really
literally like, I don't know, 12 years, 10 years. How long you guys been doing this?
Now, it was time to head back and look for our campsite.
The rocks are really slippery, and it is super dark already. It's gonna be nice to get back to the campsite. Slow and steady.
Won't you step out? It's a wee bit trepidatious.
That rock there specifically is.
Dusk fell, and the sounds of a late summer night surrounded us.
So that chirping sound we keep hearing, it always reminds me of like the late summer. A lot of people hear that and they think it's a cicada of some sort, but it's actually a katydid.
Amid the summer night sounds, we returned to the junction and made our way to the campsite.
As we neared it, we chatted with some other campers and asked if there were any available spots nearby.
Little spot up there. There's a little trail off that way. Little opening here. If the other has more space, then I say we go with the other.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go check out the other.
Yeah, this one looks better.
We had found a decent spot up on the hill and started setting up our tents.
After our tents were situated, we wanted to start cooking our meals, but Robby's stove wasn't sparking properly.
I went down to the other campers to see if they had a lighter we could use to ignite the gas.
Thank you. So what was the issue?
He just very gingerly started it and then lit it with a lighter.
Now that we could get the water boiled, we prepped our meals and sat down to give them a taste.
All right, what's everyone got? I've got risotto with chicken.
I got beef stew.
I got that home-style chicken and rice.
I'm going with a fan favorite, the lasagna.
That lasagna. I'm just excited about the big chunky bits in this one.
Yeah, that's beef stew.
Wasn't even that hungry, but this is hitting the spot.
Yeah.
Have you had one of these before?
No, it's fantastic. The only thing I've had close to this is like actual military MREs, which honestly aren't bad.
So fortunately, our camp neighbors said that there's some water at the cave that we're going to tomorrow.
Oh, and that's really close. That's good.
Fortunately, since we're not going uphill tomorrow, we won't be sweating nearly as much either.
Honestly, besides the rain, this should be a very smooth sailing trip. But besides the rain is a big caveat.
Yeah.
After dinner, we hung up our food bags and scented items, then retired to our warm, stuffy tents.
Oh god, it's like a cool hell right now.
God, it's so hot.
It is egregious.
It's so There's no escape.
When I'm at home, I sleep with a white noise machine and literally 3 fans. No, I just have bugs that are just going.
Are you glad you came?
All things considered, man, this has been a blast.
There's a negative breeze right now.
It's like the air is being pulled from my lungs.
How are you guys?
Yeah, this is worse than I ever could have imagined.
The absolute lack of a breeze is...
This is pretty bad.
Well, this is either going to be a great night of sleep because we're so tired, or the worst night of sleep. All right, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Eventually, the night cooled down and we fell asleep.
The next morning, we awoke to a sunny day and surprisingly cool weather. I started the day off by getting some water boiled for coffee. Hopefully, the coffee would help us mentally prepare for the rest of the day.
So, as nice as the weather is right now, we are in for a world of hurt. Starting at 1 p.m., according to the weather radar, it is going to rain from then until the end of the trip. We're going to try to enjoy this while we can.
It's funny, it literally is super nice right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's not even humid, it's nice and cool. The sun is out. Kind of cruel. Nearby, Danny was getting in some morning stretches.
It's a good stretching.
Then, we grabbed our food bags and got out the instant coffee. Today, we were drinking this Brooklyn coffee. Now, it was time to give it a taste.
This coffee was from Joan R. Thank you, Joan.
This is caramel, Jordan almonds, and poached pear. I haven't had Jordan almonds, but I do taste the caramel. I just taste coffee. And I think I taste the pear.
Last night, I was so tired, even despite the clamminess. It doesn't even matter. My hands were like sweating. I just put them on my face.
Before you fell asleep, I don't know what you were doing, but it just sounded like you were constantly rotating in position for like 15 minutes
Probably
straight.
exactly what he was doing.
And I was like, oh my God, just stop moving.
Andrew went outside to just cool off.
Yeah.
So I just literally laid there still until everything started drying off, and I was like, all right.
It was the best decision for both of us.
I was like, don't touch me.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you, scum.
Stop moving.
Once it got colder in the night, it was like perfect.
Good. Danny snores like I do a train wreck.
Yeah, I noticed
But
that.
it didn't bother me that much.
Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
me neither.
Like I said, just punch me. That's what my wife does.
Well.
So we'll tear down and head up the cave and then
Water up.
Yeah.
water.
Enjoy this weather while you can.
We now broke camp. We were eager to get on the trail and fill up on water before the likely rainfall, and so we headed out.
As we made our way up the fern-covered hillside and back to the main trail, we saw another red-spotted newt.
So we just saw that orange salamander, and I was telling Robby, there's the hellbender, which is native to areas of Indiana and the Midwest, and they're actually going extinct. So the zoo I used to work at, they are doing a rehabilitation program, and for the first time ever, last year, the year before, they successfully created an environment that hellbenders felt comfortable enough to naturally procreate. But Mesquite Park Zoo was the first place to ever do it legitimately.
We also saw this marbled orb weaver meticulously at work. So one of the only redeeming factors about the rain, besides that it, provides life to the entire ecosystem, is that it results in mushrooms sprouting up everywhere. And already on this trail, I've seen some gem-studded puffballs, and then growing out of this tree is a mushroom in the genus Foliata, which is also commonly called scaly caps. And as you can see, it's got a very scaly looking top.
Soon, we arrived back at the main trail.
So it says Sand Cave is 0.8 miles away. Our camp neighbors said that there's water there. We should get there as soon as possible so we don't have to fill up in the rain. And then we can try to enjoy the trail as best we can before the pain.
If we get thirsty while it's raining, we just go.
As we hiked, I spotted some interesting plants. So this is a type of milkweed called poke milkweed.
It looks really different from a lot of the milkweeds you're used to seeing, which grow in meadows and stuff. Unlike a lot of other varieties, this one usually grows in forests. It's got these distinct looking pods. These will develop seeds with fuzz in them that'll just spread through the wind. So here there's also a plant that's got these beautiful whorled leaves, and at the tip there's a little seed pod here. But earlier in the season you would see this brilliant, probably orange flower, and this is a lily. If you think of like tiger lilies or Easter lilies, they always have really flashy flowers. It's always cool to see those in the wild.
We hiked on, enjoying the change in terrain.
How much nicer is this flat ground than yesterday?
It's a dream.
I was just telling Andrew it felt like cruise control. And my muscle memory is just letting me walk. I'm having to exert next to no effort.
Yeah. Andrew said this yesterday. It was just amazing, the difference.
I find my mental health is skyrocketing at the moment.
While hiking, I noticed a few things lying on the ground.
So covering the ground are these big green tennis ball looking things. Over there's some shagbark hickory trees, and these are the correlating hickory nuts. They still have their green husk on them, but if you stomp on some and get to the nut inside, this is what the actual shell on the inside looks. And this I think is too underripe to actually crack open and eat, but I've had some hickory nuts and they taste pretty delicious actually. It's kind of like a sweet pecan.
After yesterday's hike, we were still taken aback by how easy the terrain was now.
Yo, this trail is awesome. It has been a long time since we've been on a trail this wide and this well manicured.
Right. I was dreading the rain, but if the trail keeps up like this, I will not complain too much.
Flat, wide trail plus the rain, it might even be a net positive.
Yeah. I'm gonna choose to look on the bright side of it. So there's a bunch of other puffball mushrooms growing all along the soil here, and they have this brown, bumpy texture. And unlike a lot of edible puffballs, when you open this up, it always reminds me of like sesame flavored stuff. But this is called the poison pigskin puffball. But yeah, this is one of those species where you would not want to eat this. But it's easy to tell because when you break it open at any stage, it's pretty much gonna be this color. These are rhododendrons, which are commonly found all throughout the Appalachians. And I was once told that these are not native, but actually this particular species is native to this area. And I think we're starting to see a lot more of them because we're higher in altitude.
These were likely Rose Bay rhododendrons, as other common species only grow above 3,500 feet, just above our current elevation. We also saw some blueberry bushes and some russula mushrooms.
Up ahead on the trail, we had come across a large sandstone structure and decided to inspect it.
It's weird. This really is kind of different from a lot of rock formations we've seen in the Appalachians. Like the weird random pock marks and stuff.
I wonder if those were bigger rocks that were there and then just over time they fell out. Because I mean, if you get really close, there's tons of tiny little rocks and they could very easily be pulled out. Oh, and you can even start to see some of the autumn colors poking through just right there on that cliff face. You got a little bit of bright red, crimson, and green.
As we took in the sight of the impressive bluffs, we also noticed how peaceful and perfect the day was.
Can we just talk about how upsetting this nice weather is? I just want to make sure we're getting real reactions right now about how nice and good I feel. And then later, we're going to be so upset.
I'm on cloud 9 right now.
You're going to be on cloud 1 later.
Right. I'm going to be underneath 9 clouds.
Up ahead, Andrew saw a tiny mushroom.
The cool thing about mushrooms is they vary in all sorts of shapes and sizes. This is in the Marasmus genus. This one in particular is called an orange pinwheel. And a lot of times when you look at species from this genus, the cap has a very textured sort of top, almost like an umbrella or a pinwheel. And this one's just growing out of this little decaying stick.
The trail now descended in elevation. We entered a section of the woods covered in fallen hemlock branches and decided to collect some firewood for later, before hiking on.
Here's another dry creek. I really hope their intel was right.
Oh, wow. These are some sort of chanterelle mushroom. It's super brilliant orange. And on the underside, they have these ridges instead of gills, which is one of the ways you can distinguish chanterelles from poisonous lookalikes. There's actually a lot of them just growing all around here. I might collect some. So, as a reminder, picking mushrooms is like picking berries from a bush, in the sense that the mushroom is just the fruiting body of the fungus, and when you pick it, the whole organism stays alive and can regrow the mushrooms. So these are red chanterelles, and you can see where it gets that name. So here's another example of one of the species from the Pinwheel Marasmus genus. You can see just how delicate they are. You can pick up this whole leaf, and that's the entirety of this fungus growing on this. And again, you can see how there's sort of this ridgy texture on the cap. If you look at the gills, they're really distinct. And it's just so delicate. The stem is so tiny. Really cool.
There was also a mushroom that looked like a chanterelle, but whose edibility is disputed.
It's not actually in the genus Chanterelles, but if you look at the underside, it's got these ridgy folds and this kind of distinct trumpet-looking shape. Because I don't know the species 100%, I'm gonna leave it behind. These ones in the back are an Amanita species called Destroying Angel, and they're completely white. And yeah, those are deadly poisonous, so.
Now, we came to another junction.
We're talking about the bad weather again and how right now it's very nice. And soon it will not be.
So Sand Cave is 0.2 miles. Okay, well now it's the moment of truth. I say we keep looking until we find water. Because if they said they definitely saw it, we should not give up until we found it.
From here, the trail branched off and descended down towards the cave.
We saw a Cantharellus minor mushroom and another edible fungus.
All right, so once again, chicken of the woods, really beautiful. This one is super fresh and tender. I'm gonna take some of these bits on the margins and just collect them so we can all try a little bit. As always, my foraging philosophy is that unless you truly need to survive, you should just take enough to enjoy for a little bit and leave the rest for the environment.
Wow, we're really gonna need that water when we come back up.
Finally, we reached the end of the steep descent and came to the sand cave.
Is that not the most beautiful sight you've ever seen?
Just that little bit of trickling water, I'm like, I will sit here for 3 hours if that's how long it takes to fill up my bag.
Oh man, what a relief.
Saying it would take 3 hours to fill up water may have been prophetic on Danny's part.
I guess I'm just shocked at the lack of water even after rain. Like, this is like bare minimum. But it works.
This is so out of nowhere.
The sights and sounds of gently trickling water and the majestic cave were beautiful. We took a moment to take it all in before getting to work.
We began filtering the water. In the meantime, Andrew boiled some water to cook his foraged mushrooms.
I would be cooking the chicken of the woods and the red chanterelles together. As the concoction boiled, the others continued filtering water, but it seemed they were running into some issues.
I don't know, last time this filter cracked when we were pumping it, and it just happened again. It didn't crack all the way, so we could still use it, but there's just so much pressure, the water's not coming out, and I don't know what exactly the problem is.
Huh.
And we've got so much water to fill up, there's no guarantee that filter's gonna hold up.
Do we have iodine tablets anywhere?
I normally have them, and I didn't bring them this trip. When I loosen the filter, like, all this built-up air pops out, and I don't know why it's not flowing properly. Maybe the filter's just so dirty, water can't get through fast enough, and it's just pumping air into it.
I feel like even then,
Yeah.
it shouldn't clog up that quickly.
Here's my thought. We pump until we can't pump anymore. And then if it comes to it, we'll find a way to abandon ship and get water.
This might seem a little gross, but don't worry. These are freshly washed underpants. A little survival thing you can do is to use this to filter out any sediment while you're filling up water, then boil it just so we actually have some water to drink right now and we can save the fresh water that's being pumped. I might have to abandon this if I can't get any because it's so shallow. Actually, you know what I could do?
The water was just too shallow to scoop, so I tried this method instead.
There probably still is a little sediment, but I mean, if we boil it, we'll be fine. Mm-hmm. Well, this is quite an adventure.
So right now the Adventure Archives crew, they're trying to filter water, and everyone looks really grim. Except Andrew has an undeniable positivity about his actions. We're gonna see how well this underwear water works.
I lit the stove to boil the underwear wrung water, but this was obviously not the ideal method for water purification.
There we go.
Nice.
I feel very stupid right now because we're still getting caught out here with a shoddy stove and we forgot to bring a second method of filtering water besides boiling, but you know, underwear water. In the meantime, do you want to try this mushroom soup?
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
All right. New plan?
Here's what we'll do. We'll divvy up the water that we have right now. I'm gonna go back to the starting point. Then I'm gonna meet you at the campsite.
With this new plan, we divvied up the water and discussed what was ahead of us.
It's kind of funny because last night wasn't 100% sure that I put the filter in Danny's backpack. I did, but I was already formulating a plan on how to.
So you were mentally prepared to do this already.
Yeah, I was like, if we did need to get water, what will we do?
We definitely have your gear divvied up properly and stuff.
I mean, I'll be there before you guys are setting up, I'm sure.
All right.
I hope. All right.
You definitely good?
Yeah, let me just make sure I've got everything I need. I got keys, money, room in the backpack for the water. Okay.
Yep.
See you guys soon. Have fun. I will be back. Make sure you're thirsty.
I mean, as bad as things are looking, we're not in a survival scenario. We're just in a misery scenario.
This might just be my personality, but whenever crap starts to hit the fan, I get more excited and focused than I would in comfortable situations. Like the fact that we've had to break up because now there is some sort of objective that has to be accomplished. I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
This is good. It's good to have that energy.
Not an ideal situation, obviously, but we will make it work. Apparently, there is a trail here that will lead back to the trail we came from. Save me a little bit of time, but I'm just gonna book it and get that water as quickly as possible.
I soon arrived back at the main trail.
1.1 miles to our campsite yesterday, and then 3 miles down to the car. It's either flat or downhill from here on out, so I don't anticipate it being slow going. Just gonna keep a nice, even pace.
Meanwhile, it was time to try the mushroom soup.
All right, so the show must go on, and I've cooked these mushrooms. Smell this really quick, and what's it smell like to you?
Mushroom soup?
Oh.
I mean, it smells good.
Well, I was gonna
like chicken
see
broth.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
This is chicken of the woods. Whoa.
I can definitively say that there's a good reason why they call it chicken in the woods.
Yeah, there is a crazy chicken broth flavor in here.
It warms me all the way down. Not that it was cold, but
It's kind of crazy. Like, the mushroom itself tastes like it, but the first time I boiled it, I did not expect the water to actually taste like chicken soup.
it hit about in my throat. Like, so Bryan, you've been uncharacteristically quiet over there.
I'm in a bad mood.
After that, we headed out, making our way through the sand cave to get back to the trail.
The air definitely feels a tad bit cooler, like 2 degrees cooler.
So how many bats do you think chill up there?
Good question. Wow, this is massive.
Yeah, it's cameras just don't do it justice, man.
Okay, that was our campsite yesterday. White Rocks, and back to the Civic Park Trailhead, 2.8 miles. I just did 0.8 miles in 14 minutes, so we're making incredible time. All right, next stop, the car.
From the sand cave, there was a rocky, rooty scramble back to the path. Along the way, we saw a strange-looking mushroom.
This here is a Calostoma mushroom. It looks kind of like an alien organ of some sort. And at the tip, it's got this bulbous part, and if you squeeze it, all of these white spores come out, and that's obviously how it spreads its spores to keep growing. But yeah, it's one of the weirder looking mushrooms that I've seen.
One more intersection, and then a very short jaunt to the car.
So earlier you were saying that magnolia tree looks kind of alien. This is actually the fruit of that tree.
Oh, wow.
Looks very prehistoric. Sometimes you'll see these big bright red seeds growing out of each of these sections. Oh man, what is this uphill?
Right. We got spoiled.
Hopefully it doesn't last too long.
We were now back on the main trail, hiking up. We saw occasional flashes of fall colors amid the summer scenery.
funny, this trail, just it being flat is such a boost to my mood. Whereas when it goes uphill, my mood drops completely.
Hopefully Robby is having as good a time as us right now.
By the time I get to the car, probably only an hour will have elapsed. So that'll be plenty of time for me to grab a bunch of water. I'm gonna get some drinks. I'm gonna get some snacks. We'll have a glorious reunion, and hopefully we can do that all before it starts raining at 5 o'clock, which it now says it will.
I was now back at the trailhead. It was time to get in the car and head out to find some water.
So you just got signal, and Robby said he made it to the car, and it looks like rain is not until 5 p.m.
Yep.
It's about 4 hours, less than 4 hours, but we got about 4-ish miles to go, so hopefully we'll get to camp on time. So this rock just like stands out in this kind of hazy looking forest, covered in this white lichen. I don't know exactly what species it is, but lichen is actually a combination of algae and fungi. Rather than being its own species, it's actually like two different organisms mixed together. It's also covered in moss. That's another thing you often see covering these rocks. From a distance, I thought it was just calcite. Like sometimes you'll see white crystals too. But,
We also saw a flowering self-heal plant.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the difficulty level of this trip?
I'd say 7.
Okay, that's mildly.
Right now the trail's not too bad, but I feel like the uphills we had yesterday and some of today, plus just all the things going on, combined to make it a 7.
Well, for what it's worth, I'm having a pretty good time. It is tough, but like, I guess I was just kind of mentally ready for that, because last time I went hiking, we didn't do any research before we hit the trail that we hit, and it ended up being 4 miles uphill, and the trail in a lot of cases wasn't even a trail. It was like really slick rocks, and I had a 1-year-old strapped to my chest the whole time on the way down the hill. Despite the fact that I was winded, she fell asleep even when it was pouring rain on top of her head. She just passed out.
I will say this trail right now, probably a 3.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we've joked in the past about how whenever we bring someone new hiking, something always goes wrong. And we've been camping with you before, but not like backpacking.
But if you remember last time we went camping, you and Thomas didn't bring tents.
Right.
And you guys started getting poured on in the middle of the night.
That's that classic Hocking Hills story.
Oh yeah, it's a good one, man.
Yeah.
Core memories.
Meanwhile, I was pulling into a gas station.
Are they actually open? Okay, this one is no longer open, so we're gonna have to find an alternative. I don't anticipate that being too much of a problem though. I believe this is the town of Ewing. There's gotta be something up here. There we go. As long as it's open. Most definitely not open. Okay, we might have to go a little bit out of the way, but we will find a gas station or a grocery store, no problem.
What do you guys think Robby's up to right now?
Probably enjoying that air conditioning right now.
He spent a lot of extra time in the gas station just like, let me read all the nutritional facts on all these chips.
He's like secretly buying 10 bottles of Gatorade just for himself.
Yeah. So I don't know why you guys feel so bad. Meanwhile, he wolfed down an entire large pizza.
We took a moment to enjoy a quiet, breezy opening on the trail.
After enjoying the moment, we discussed our plans.
As of right now, according to the radar that I saw, rain isn't projected in our area till 6, but I don't think we should push it too much. I think the best situation is if we get to the campsite with some time to spare, set up our shelters, set up a nice tarp, that way we have a place to cook and eat and stuff like that.
Let's do it.
As the others continued on the trail, I had found a dollar store, which was thankfully open. As expected, they had plenty of water, and I decided to get a few other goodies as well.
I do not relish that I'm gonna have to carry all this, but it is good to have a healthy supply of liquid. 12 liters of water, 4 Gatorades. Oh, that's heavy. Now, unfortunately, even though I have the liquid, I still have to get to the top of that, and that is not gonna be a joke. We've had pretty good signals, so hopefully I can get somebody to meet me part way, and then we can split the load a little bit.
Meanwhile, Back on our leisurely hike,
So this is what you were talking about the other day, where it's a oak wasp gall, and a wasp will like inject something into an oak leaf and it forms this ball. It almost looks like a fruit.
Yeah, I thought it was a toy for a second, like a kid had dropped. The coloration is so vibrant.
It even looks like a fruit. The texture is kind of like an apple on the inside.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that's just bug secretions.
I think it takes the plant material and kind of like mutates it. So that's still made of like the stuff from the plant, but yeah.
Now we continued on, hiking past a mysterious sandstone boulder.
the sounds of summer surrounded us as we hiked. Thankfully, the trail had remained flat this entire way, but the impending rain still loomed in the back of our minds.
We had gotten lucky with the consistently flat trail, but down at the bottom of the mountains, Robby had quite a climb ahead of him.
I now drove towards the trailhead at the end of the hike where we had dropped off the other car. From here, I would hike in from the opposite direction to meet the others.
All right, well, I'm gonna drink my Gatorade first. I need a little morale boost and some hydration and energization. Okay, the pack is probably close to 50 pounds. I've done this once before, and that was after we hiked a mountain in Japan and rode a subway for like 9 hours. It was horrible. With any luck, this is not gonna be as long and painful as all that. Okay, 2.8 miles to the junction. Hopefully I can meet up the guys there. Okay, this is gonna be so glorious. I'd like to enjoy it with the other guys at the same time, but I need a little morale boost. It's kind of unnatural to drink something this blue, but that's not bad.
The woods around us were teeming with life. Mushrooms sprouted from the fertile soil, and insects chattered all around us.
Suddenly, Danny got a call on his phone from Robby.
I've got the water, and I'm headed up to the Ridge Trail. Do you guys know where the intersection where we would meet at is?
Yeah.
If you guys want to just wait at that intersection, send one person down, maybe like a mile with an empty pack, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, we can do that. We'll send somebody.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out here in a second. All right, bye.
Right.
One of the guys is gonna bring an empty pack and help me carry it the rest of the way, but not long now. We'll take a nice long break, enjoy our snacks and drinks up at the intersection. This is gonna be good.
While I was hiking,
turtle.
this eastern box turtle took me by surprise.
And on our end of the trail, there were some interesting fungi.
So the cool thing about mushrooms is sometimes they have a surprising amount of color. Earlier we saw a purple cordinarius mushroom just poking out of the leaves. And this is called Russula virescens, aka the green crackling russula. So it's got this beautiful, almost seafoam green color and this crackled pattern. And a lot of russulas, they have a really brilliant red color, but it's hard to tell which ones are poisonous and which are edible. But this species is very easily distinguished, and it is edible.
All right, I got a weather update situation, but right now it looks like that the rain clouds are not going to be over us until 9 p.m. Even then it may be sparse because it looks like the clouds are moving so slowly they're kind of dissipating before they get to us. If we continue this pattern of luck, we may only get a little bit of rain tonight, and then tomorrow will also be a little bit better.
It's funny how quickly your luck can change one way or the other.
Greedo was like, all right, these guys have suffered a bit too much. Let's change something here.
As we hiked, we saw a chanterelle. The flatness of the trail and the lack of rain had raised our spirits.
So I don't know about you guys, but I feel like my mood has drastically improved for a variety of reasons. Robby's on his way with water. The weather is improving for today. The trail's been nice. Things are looking a bit more up than they were at the morning.
Yeah, it is just incredible how much walking downhill versus uphill can change your perspective on life.
I think that goes to show how much of your mental state is affected by your physical state.
Well, you know, there's like that literal thing about people being hangry. And, you know, when you eat food, it releases what? Oxytocin or dopamine? And so being hangry is a genuinely real thing.
We now arrived at the junction that connected to the trail Robby was taking up.
So I think I can empty my pack out and I'll go down and meet Robby. If worse comes to worse, you guys can use the tarp to cover stuff up. If like it starts drizzling, I think it's fine. Use it less.
I emptied my bag and hydrated.
Drink up, fellas. None of this water goes to waste. All right, you guys have fun.
We will.
I will see you guys in a little bit.
Good luck.
All right.
All right.
You guys, good luck.
Yep, see you, buddy.
You say good luck.
I mean, we are going to need a lot of luck to eat all the snacks and sit here.
Looks like our morale is taking a great rise right now.
Indeed. With the lack of precipitation and the addition of additional hydration and consummation. Is that the right word? Consummation?
No, consummation is not.
Consumption?
I think I may be a mile away. Just got word that Andrew's headed down with an empty bag. We are gonna make lemonade out of lemons.
Wow, it is amazing how much faster and more agile you are when you don't have anything in your backpack. Whoa, this is cool. Okay, this is all looking incredibly steep and rocky, so I can see why Robby did not want to haul all that water up this alone. Hopefully, it won't be too bad on the way up. I keep looking in the distance and hoping I will see Robby, but I have a feeling that won't be for a little while. Oh boy. Now we have even more steep, rocky incline, or decline right now. Great. Well, that was actually a lot sooner than I expected. I was about to record myself whooping, but...
There's Andrew. Oh man, I got a little present for you. Well, I got a present for everybody, but you'll get to have yours early.
You know how at the end of every episode, we're hiking down, we're like, man, I'm glad I'm not going up this?
Uh-huh.
That's what this trail is. It is steep and rocky. Oh man, I'm actually surprised he kept going, because I was saying earlier, I would not blame Robby if he just sat down as soon as he heard I was coming down. And just went.
No.
It's funny because Danny volunteered to come down, but I was like, I can't let him go through something that miserable.
Not on his first trip.
Yeah.
I already chose my color.
Oh,
There's a
baby.
color for everybody.
Oh man, that's so good. It's weird how quickly your luck can turn though. It's like, things are actually looking up right now.
Yeah. It's like, as long as we got this much water, we're good. I got a whole 12 liters of water, so.
Yeah, we are set.
Great.
All right.
Oh, do you have any hair ties?
Season 2 Robby is back. I'm back, baby! You look like Akuma.
Okay, let's go. Oh my God, this pack is so much lighter. I can do this again. How long do you estimate that it took you to get down to here?
Probably like 15 minutes or something.
Okay.
But uphill's a different question.
Okay, I can live with that. As long as we can take a nice long break at that intersection. Woo!
We hiked up the steep incline. Andrew was savoring his Gatorade, drinking a bit at each switchback.
All right, this is where it truly pays off. Oh my God, it's good.
This is what dreams are made of.
It's like Gatorado is our new deity.
This part of the trail was even steeper than the previous section, and we were now sweating like pigs.
If I were a Star Wars character, my name would be Glup Sweato. There's not a single pore that is not oozing sweat.
I don't really sweat normally. Look at this. Do you see this? That is sweat soaking through my pants. Oh man. Wow. I I would say this view makes it all worthwhile, but to be honest, it's the Gatorade that made it all worthwhile.
Well, we already saw a better view than this anyway.
This is the last turn, then it's a straight shot. I'm gonna splay on the ground. I'm gonna be Splay Beto. That's my Star Wars name.
We now reach the last stretch of the trail, which was also the steepest.
This is rapidly becoming the most difficult thing I've done.
I wasn't exaggerating, right?
No, horrible. Nobody was supposed to have to go uphill on this beast. Whoop, whoop!
Oh my God, dude. The part where I met Robby and we had to go back up was so steep.
Dude, I was reading the reviews of this trail on All Trails, and I was saying mile 1 will make you smug about your fitnesses. Mile 2 and 3 will make you consider your life choices again.
Robelius, you are a brave and powerful warrior. Return triumphant without hydration. How do you feel?
Oh my God.
Was it worth it?
It will be. I gotta lie down immediately.
Okay. Someone make yourself comfortable in my chair. You know what's the best part? Is he's not even sweating.
Trust me, I'm very moist. Though you do not see the droplets.
So this is the elevation you guys just did. And then we'll just have this little bit here, and then easy coasting for the rest of the trip.
Okay, here we go. Me and Andrew already got first pick of colors.
Oh, yeah, baby. I'll do the yellow.
Well, did you guys already pick your colors?
Oh, no, we already drank ours.
Yeah, all right. We're just
There was no way that could
We talked about this, right? We were like, he's probably bringing chugging 10 bottles.
we were doing like Robby ate a whole large.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby. I like Twix, so
I'll do Kit Kat.
me and Skemry have this unearned.
Hey man, my butt fell asleep.
The most moving I did while I was up here was trying to get my cell phone reception.
He walked over here and was like, "Oh, I got 4G over here. Guess I'm gonna have to move my chair."
We've talked about it ad infinitum, but this will never taste better than when you push yourself all the way to the brink, and then you finally let yourself enjoy this. Oh my God. I've got like a giant Gatorade mix at home. I never even look at it. I'm like, dude, I don't want that. So after I left you guys, you had the mushrooms? Were they tasty?
They were pretty good. It's like a mild chicken broth flavor.
I was in no mood to eat mushrooms.
I think it took all of me and Andrew's positivity to make Bryan not be like, we're leaving.
We're abandoning Robby. We're just going back to the parking lot. We'll message him, just drive back here.
Yeah.
Now, we filled up on water, did some dynamic stretching, and then headed out.
We hiked along the trail, looking forward to our campsite.
But we still had a ways to go.
There's a little junction going to another campsite, but...
All right, gentlemen. We passed by another giant sandstone structure.
Danny had wandered into the structure, so we followed after him.
Whoa! There's a whole crevice in here. Where'd you go? Danny boy! He went to another dimension. He came out, we were all gone.
I'm trying to decide what I think that looks like, and it kind of looks like the head of that rock-eating golem thing from the Never-Ending Story. Like the bottom part is his jaw, and then you got kind of his eyes here.
I want lots of tasty rocks.
Here, the trail meandered uphill a bit longer.
This is the Chadwell Gap campsite. And then I think it's not much longer to ours, at least.
Yeah.
That's the end of the elevation now.
Shortly after, we arrived at the Hensley campsite.
Oh, it spreads way over.
And there's firewood? Is that firewood?
Yeah.
Oh man, everything's looking at Millhouse. Oh my God.
Look at this.
Oh my God.
You wouldn't believe we're sitting on top of pretty much a mountain right now.
Oh my God, this is great.
This is incredibly nice.
It was all worth it.
It was all worth it.
It was all worth it.
I mean, I don't know about you guys.
man.
Me and Bryan had the bulk of the job.
What a journey.
Two fire pits, so you losers can use that one. Cameron can use this one.
That's right.
Actually, we'll take
You
the
gotta
one
start
with
your
the
own,
chairs.
though. Oh, man.
Could not be happier. Holy cow.
God,
All
this
right.
is awesome.
I think first thing we should do is set up the tarp and the tents.
Great idea.
We settled into camp and used the hitching post to dry out our damp clothes.
How you guys feel?
Pretty good now. Pretty good. I thought we did pretty good.
Now, we set up the tarp in anticipation of the rain. A tarp is always a great way to enjoy your campsite in the rain without having to retreat to a cramped tent while it's still light out.
We decided to give the tarp sitting area a test and talk about the journey so far.
This is one of those trips where it felt like a script writer planned everything out. Like, it's kind of crazy how good this campsite is. Yeah.
If you had to like draw a line graph of our morale, it was like this. And then when we get to the campsite,
I would say that the mood line graph would be basically synchronous with the hills we've been.
It's a direct inverse of the hills.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was going a lot farther.
Yeah, this is great.
It's a good sitting.
Quality set.
Mighty good sitting.
Oh, I'm gonna go sit on a log because it's way more comfortable and it's not raining yet. We should set up the tents sooner than later. Yeah, the last thing we would want is to get wet after all of this good fortune. Set up those tents, have them ready to go.
End the trip with being at each other's throats.
Ooh, you know what we should do? Get that fire going and melt the cheese on some tortillas over it or something.
Ooh, that's a good plan.
After a brief rest, Danny and I set up the tents and made sure that they were secure from the rain.
With our shelters ready, I started collecting firewood. There were plenty of big pieces of wood lying around, and the kukri was perfect for processing it all.
Just as Andrew had finished collecting wood, the sky seemed to darken, and the wind picked up.
Okay, the weather is starting to look a little grim. Hopefully we can get a fire started before the rain comes down. We're already prepared to immediately go into our tents, but we're gonna try to cook and have at least a little bit of a fire before we actually get this rain.
But then, droplets started falling.
Can you feel it?
Yeah, we heard a slight pitter patter.
I feel a little bit on me.
Hopefully it's nothing right now, but I gotta move all this stuff in. Some of the stuff we can put on another tarp if we need to.
Okay.
We scrambled to collect everything around the campsite and secure it beneath the tarp.
The rain was still light, so we gathered beneath the tarp. Once the water was done boiling, we cooked our meals.
But you know, all things considered, we did a good job preparing for the rain. We're as prepared as we could be, so.
Yeah. Man, I'm so glad I brought this tarp. It's like just barely enough for us right now, but you know.
Okay, well, while we're waiting, we have two treats.
Jongchodye Mid-Autumn Festival is coming up in a week about. So we've got these mooncakes. We'll just have one for now. Have you had these before?
Nope.
So this is
Lotus paste.
lotus paste and egg yolk.
Salted duck.
Sweet
egg
and
yolk.
salty.
You know how people put like cheddar cheese with apple pie? It's like the Chinese version of that. Verdict?
How about biggest takeaways from this trip? You can rely on weather reports as much as you want. It's not going to matter what they say until you get out there and experience what's going to happen.
Yeah. That is the case for everything when it comes to learning about camping. Even today we learned lessons about, we need to remember iodine tablets and like But it's always the experience that will teach you better than just reading about it.
Yeah.
There's always room to learn and grow, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we've experienced all there is to experience, Danny, what do you think about this trip so far?
This isn't the worst situation outdoors I've ever been in by a long shot.
Yeah.
So I'm having pretty much a good time. And then also getting to see the process behind making the videos too is a ton of fun as well. I'm getting a little sweaty with you guys. Come on, man.
This is the Ritz-Carlton or whatever.
Cheers to that.
All right, lasagna for me.
Yeah, likewise.
Got
Going
my
in.
fettuccine Alfredo with chicken.
We got that pad thai.
Man, you know what these are? Those have been good times.
All of our times messing up have prepared us for this moment. The tents are ready. All of our stuff's inside.
We got
We're
the tarp.
dry. We're eating. Come on, man. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Okay, well, I'm going to go inside the tent. Lie down.
After dinner, the rain started to pick up a bit. We sat under the tarp, enjoying the view around us, and reflected on the trip thus far.
Glad that we managed to avoid the rain until we got to camp. And also, I'm hoping the weather improves, at least somewhat.
We got here, camp set up, we're dry, we have food in our stomachs, and it's peaceful. If the weather does improve, then awesome. We get to keep hiking and doing this. So, all in all, this is a good time.
Dusk fell as the rain continued pattering. It was peaceful all around, and definitely a bit sleep-inducing.
Well, I think I'm gonna retire to the tent.
That's mine. Now that Bryan has retreated to the tent, I'm stealing his chair.
And then there were two. The only true bravest warriors to sit under the tarp.
What is still the weird noises? Is he good? Robby had like this extremely aggressively negative opinion towards rain in the car on the way here, and I wish I had been recording him saying it. And I didn't have the heart to tell him. I was like, I feel polar opposite. I love the rain. Like, it's so peaceful and zen and just quiet. And what's that word you guys always say? Nostalgic.
The evening carried on, and suddenly the rain started coming down much harder.
Beyond saving at this point.
It is coming down super hard suddenly.
We're gonna stay in the driest part of the tarp and hope for the best.
Yeah, I'm down for waiting this out.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Surely it can't last this hard all night, right?
3 hours later.
Holy crap.
Oh man.
That was just sudden.
Yes.
Andrew and Danny are still out there. I hope they don't try to come out right now. This is a terrible time to move out from under that tarp. If you're already dry, I feel like the best thing to do when it rains this hard is just wait. It's never gonna rain this hard for very long. I might eat my words, but in all of our experience so far, you can wait like 5-10 minutes and it'll eventually let up. We'll see though.
You remember that time that we had Robby go and get a lot of water? And now we're just quite literally being dumped on.
Though we had said we were going to wait it out, the rain showed no sign of letting up, and it was getting much darker.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be better off if we just go ahead and risk it and go ahead and go.
Okay, let's do it.
No, what are you doing?
I'm getting in
You gotta wait it out! No!
Wait it out!
Go back!
No!
Why did you do this? This is the worst of all choices.
Stop making me laugh! I'm trying to save myself.
What are you doing? Oh my god.
We decided.
Look at you. You were dry!
Can you unzip that?
Well, since you're here, welcome.
Thank you.
Do you hear that?
The rain?
Do you hear that rain lightening up?
Don't you dare.
Truth be told, it's not too bad under here right now. I'm definitely getting misted. After the next lull, I'm gonna make a run for it, but I feel like it was lighting up very slightly, maybe not.
Andrew and I were sitting in there and it started raining pretty heavy, and we were slowly getting soaked by just the small amounts of water that were splashing back up onto us. And then it got really heavy and we're like, yeah, we should go. What I did not anticipate was getting stuck in this.
You look like a trapped weasel, just struggling to get into Bryan. And I was yelling at you, you go back from where you came. You had to beg me to help you. Oh, that was hilarious.
Oh, that was good.
All right, there's a slight lull in the rain, if you can believe that, so I'm gonna make a run for it.
Oh, Andrew's running. Andrew's running.
All right. Oh God. I'm just trying to get in as fast as possible.
Sit in and then close the door.
Yeah.
Wait, so he stayed?
I guess. Believe it or not, it was quite peaceful out there, but it was going so hard and it let up for a little bit, so I was like, I gotta go. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. When Danny came running in, I told him to go back.
I just heard loud noises.
That was the sound of family not helping each other in any way.
Woo. I am getting my sleeping bag out, but have zero desire to be under it, let alone touch anything.
I tried to warn you.
Yeah, he did.
Well, actually, I didn't
Look,
try
no,
to
you
warn
didn't warn anything. You did nothing.
I even knew that it was gonna get heavier because I saw the radar. I told nobody. In my defense, by the time I remembered that, it was already raining hard, so I couldn't get a message to you guys. So I just was praying. I was trying to send the vibes to you to not get out here.
Yeah, your vibes were terrible.
It's so much lighter now.
We all fell asleep to the soft sound of rain, which came and went throughout the night.
The next morning was completely foggy.
How'd you sleep?
Felt like I was tossing and turning a lot more. Felt like I didn't really get as much solid sleep as I did the first night. The only times I could really tell that if I was actually sleeping is because I would wake up and realize I had like a really short dream.
Yeah. The only thing that is going to get me out of my sleeping bag right now is my urge to pee.
We groggily packed up our things, then headed outside to take in our surroundings.
The entire campsite was shrouded in a mysterious haze. Growing from the ground were orange spindle fungi. Everything around us was quite beautiful, albeit damp.
Well, it looks cool at least.
It's not raining too hard either.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
Tarp managed to stay up.
Yeah, it never got too windy, which was good. But I felt like I did not sleep nearly as good as last night, or the night before.
First night camping is always the best night of sleep. I feel like second's always pretty terrible.
In the morning, we used the malfunctioning stove to boil some water.
While Robby prepared the morning brew, we started tearing down the tents.
After fruitlessly trying to dry off the rain flies, we returned to the tarp to have coffee.
Not bad. Not great. Did anybody sleep well? I had 3 sections of good sleep.
Oh no.
Interspliced by a lot of tossing and turning, wondering why my back and neck hurt so bad.
It never stopped raining.
I think a lot of the heaviness, though, comes from the wind was actually blowing rain droplets onto us, because like we're actively in a cloud right now.
Well, it's nice right now. Let's go Hensley Settlement. End the trip.
After coffee, we started breaking down the rest of camp and packing up our gear.
After packing up, we meandered out of camp and headed onto the main trail. We wandered off into the fog towards the Hensley Settlement.
I saw some wild blackberries while we hiked and discussed the trail.
So something that most of us didn't realize until like halfway through the trip was that we're actually hiking on the border of Virginia and Kentucky. And if you look at the trail map, you kind of like wind back and forth between both states.
I think it's just cool to say that we're literally in 2 places at once.
Yeah.
I'm a big nerd, and I've got 3 different languages here on my arm, but one of which is Lord of the Rings Elvish, and if this is not Fangorn Forest, I don't know what is. I'm looking around, I'm waiting for a giant spider to drop out of a tree at some point, or one of the other trees to start walking around and be like, no one is on my side.
After hiking through the fog a while, we arrived at a trail intersection.
All right, looks like Hensley Settlement is only 0.2 miles away from this junction, so the flat ground miracle. You're just zooming.
Oh my God.
The motherload of chicken woods everywhere. My dad would have a field day here.
After admiring the mushrooms, we entered a bright, wide open space.
What is this? Is this marked on the map?
This is where the Master Sword would be. Oh, there's like a leftover brick here in the ground, so I'm guessing these are the remnants of whatever the Hensley house used to be.
Past this meadow was another path through the woods that led to another opening.
Whoa!
This is so mystical.
As it turns out, this was a cabin belonging to a moonshiner by the name of Thomas Jefferson Cupp.
Tom Cupp lived at this cabin in the early 1900s, making his own moonshine and occasionally selling it.
It's really cool. Rob, do you see like these footprints kind of
Whoa.
side of it? That's crazy cool.
I wonder if an animal's been digging here. Oh yeah, it looks like a gopher or something.
Dude, this is awesome.
And in the grass and woodlands around the cabin, nature was thriving.
So along this trail, I keep seeing these plants called ghost pipe plants or Monotropa uniflora. They're parasitic plants. There's ones that are white, and there's these ones which are red. These sorts of plants are not green because they don't get their energy from the sun. Instead, they are parasitic, so they sap nutrients and energy from nearby trees. And they actually do that with the help of mushrooms and fungi and things like that.
These plants were growing amid their wilted brethren. And nearby, more mushrooms were thriving in the moist weather.
This here is called hen of the woods. This grows at the base of trees similar to the Berkeley's Polypore that we saw the other day. It's completely edible, and this one actually seems pretty tender and fresh, but I think we're all ready to get out of here. So let's do it.
We could have mushrooms, but we could also have pizza.
From the open meadows, we returned to the main trail in the forest. The tall canopy towered above us, obscured by the mist.
Eventually, we arrived at the Hensley Settlement and inspected the informative sign.
So basically, you've got the Hensley family and then the Gibbons families. So where we were earlier,
We're here right
we're
now.
here.
so
Oh
it's
man,
in
so
that
we were
back
actually
there.
way off here off the map. It's really cool to kind of sit there and kind of imagine what that ecosystem would have been like with those people interacting with each other, trading items and goods. And
They are on top of this mountain because you can see this is down
yeah.
the valley below.
Now, it was time to explore the settlement. The entire area felt vast, even more so with the bright haze obscuring the distant trees.
The combination of the soft sounds of nature and the ethereal mist brought to mind dreams and distant memories.
I feel like there's something strangely nostalgic about this place. I don't know, something about a misty morning and big open fields and fences like that. Feels like something from my childhood.
We now approached the Park Hensley house, whose namesake lived in this settlement until he and others moved off the mountain due to a combination of industrialization and the wiping out of the American chestnut tree.
From there, we continued hiking north. The haze and the vastness of the place were a bit disorienting, but it was all beautiful.
Yeah, this place is pretty massive, man. You could spend a long time just exploring this area.
Now, we saw the Burt Hensley house, named after the father of Park Hensley and his many siblings. The Hensleys and the Gibbons began moving to this mountain in 1903, though there were some log structures that had been built here even before then.
I guess they do like presentations out here, things like that. I saw some plastic storage totes in the basement. I know that those aren't very historically accurate.
You know what this feels like to me? Feels like post-time skip Lon Ranch. That's what I feel like right now.
Oh, yeah. Look at all the lichen or whatever. Oh my God. How's that feel? So good.
We took a moment to stand on the front porch, imagining what it was like to have lived out here all those years ago. The sight of the old settlement and the calm weather after the storm seemed to encapsulate the yin and yang of hardship and blissful peace that exist in nature.
We moved on, and Andrew spotted a fruiting tree.
Ooh,
There's an apple on the ground here. It's a little spotty, but you know.
give it a taste.
It's like a golden delicious. You wanna try it?
Oh yeah, I got to now.
Not bad. Can you imagine? This is the type of apples people used to eat. Now we get these genetically modified ones that are big.
This will help me fight the scurvy that I've developed over the past few days.
We continued exploring the settlement, passing by a small shed in the distance, and Andrew spotted some other nearby plants.
There's also blueberry bushes just growing all over the settlement.
You think they planted them?
I bet they're wild, actually. They look like wild blueberries. Yeah, here's another one right here.
Up ahead, we came to the schoolhouse and cemetery. 25 of the 35 graves here mark the spots of families' children who unfortunately passed at a young age. Flowers decorated some of the gravestones, placed there on Decoration Day, a homecoming tradition still celebrated by the family's descendants today.
We inspected the schoolhouse, which was also a communal gathering space for the residents of the settlement.
I love how everything in there is so vintage and classic and just untouched by time. And then there's very clearly a brand new binder in there.
Now, we returned to the entrance of the settlement, where we sat down to reflect on these past few days.
So, Danny, how was your first ever trip with Adventure Archives?
I thought it was extremely memorable, man. There are so many cool views that are just second to none. I mean, even being here is so freeing and excellent, and I had an extremely good time.
If what you wanted was a semi-rugged trip, then you got your wish.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't want no nimsy-pimsy skipping through a meadow.
But
3 hours
That sounds pretty good to me.
It's funny how, for all the things that went wrong, everything still worked out so well. Like, even if we had brought those iodine tablets, there wouldn't have been any other place to fill up water besides at that cave, even though it's rained so much.
Actually, there's a water pump up here.
Oh, really?
This is the only place. Yeah, and you know, even as crappy as it is to be in the rain, this fog-soaked landscape is fantastic.
It's the perfect setting for this settlement.
Yeah, I mean, just looking even towards the camera, you can actively see the cloud that we're sitting in moving across. I mean, just right in front of our faces.
You were saying earlier, this wouldn't look nearly as cool without all the rain that we had.
Right.
It's like every bad thing that we have to deal with while we're out here has a slight bright side.
This was a very yin and yang trip. There was a lot of negatives, but the positives just absolutely balanced it out.
Few creamy middles. Lots of high highs and low lows.
I'd say the creamiest middle we had was whenever you were getting the water and me, Bryan, and Andrew found like a clearing in the brush on the trail, and it was such a beautiful, perfect breeze, and I was like, we should just tell Robby to meet us here. So you guys, this is your 54th episode, and every single episode and every single time you guys go camping, you learn something new. So what was the takeaway from this trip that you were going to recall and or make a conscious effort for every future episode?
Well, see, I'm trying to figure out what the lesson to learn here is. Maybe it's just the backups that you bring. Like, the whole point is that you won't have to use them. Because, like, I didn't bring the iodine tablets because I was like, oh, we never use this. We don't need this.
One of my favorite sayings is, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for a grander message besides just bringing iodine tablets, I think it's like no matter how experienced you are at something, you can always learn more, and you can always still make a mistake in your hubris. So it's always important to, I don't know, go into it as though you're a beginner, even when you do have that experience.
There are fewer things more humbling than the outdoors. Cool. Let's go.
Yeah, let's de-humble ourselves.
A life lived close to the wilderness can be rugged and rough, but also incredibly rewarding. This natural dialectic between harshness and delight can serve as a potent reminder to stay humble and open-minded.
It teaches us to never assume that we already know everything there is to know, or that we can get through the world alone without anyone else's work or input.
Whether it's nature or history, or just life experience that teaches us, it's important to remember that there's a wealth of experience and knowledge throughout the world, and that no one person could know or do everything.
Every community or settlement, no matter how big or small, thrives when there's harmony among the people there and the environment surrounding them. This harmoniousness is only possible when people stay open to the lessons that life has to give. When we put aside our ego and embrace a bit of humility, both our society and our own individual lives are better off for it.
Okay, thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the episode. It is no exaggeration to say that without our patrons, these videos would not be possible. Patrons get early access to the videos. Bloopers and commentaries for the episodes are only on Patreon, and we also have occasional live streams. It's just $2 every time we release a full episode, and you get all of those previous bonuses I mentioned before. You can pay a little bit more and get things like your name in the credits, or even the soundtracks to the episode, and we write all of the music, and if you want to listen to any of that, you can see it at adventurearchives.bandcamp.com. Finally, we got a bunch of t-shirts for sale at our Teespring store. We've cooked up some new designs for the holiday, so check those out. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for liking the video and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.
This is the exact spot where we met up. I think when I came down here, I did not realize how far down I had come because I had no pack, so I was going so fast.
Yeah.
And I think that alone is what kept me going.
Why is it that whenever there's a fourth person, they always leave us at the end?
I don't get how he's going this fast.
Looks like Danny left some clues for us. Kick it down for good luck.
Wow, that was really elaborately built, actually. There was like a rock around each stick, too.
Good job, Danny. Does he have a collar?
Yeah, but no tag.
Oh, hi, doggy. Hey, buddy. Hi, I found a dog and we're on the Hensley Settlement trail. Okay, it'll take us a little while to get down there. We're pretty far up the trail, but we'll head down now.
Oh yeah. Did you guys see the little sign I left you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he found me basically as I was making that sign. And I was like, okay. And so he's been following me or something.
Okay, wrinkle to the story. There's two other dogs that just suddenly showed up, and he went chasing after them.
But the good news is, that means the rest of this Slim Jim, that's mine, baby. Come here. Boy, hello. Which way are we? You united with two other dogs, and they all ran off together. Oh, there he is. He's back. You came back? We thought you left us. Come on.
I don't know if those two dogs were related to him. And since we told the owner that we were going to bring him to the trailhead, we're just going to go ahead and do that.
Hi there. Is this your dog? Yeah. All right. Well, they were all together, and they hung out for a while. He abandoned us for a bit, and then the other two ran off, so we're out there.
Yeah, that usually come back tonight, up tonight, that way on the whole.
All right, cool. Well, we weren't really sure. We didn't want them to become bear food or something.
Oh man, that air conditioning feels nice.
So I was just giggling at the fact that I've been sitting here and I'm like, man, this feels really good and I want to say something about it, but I haven't been saying a single word while I've been waiting for you to set up your camera. But yeah, no, modern day conveniences are so taken for granted until you have been powering it down a hill with a dog pulling at your hand.
Oh
My goodness. Post-hike meal, post-hike meal.
Post-hike meal, baby. Air conditioner. Oh.
Sometimes they're nice to have.
How's the AC feeling?
Feeling great. My skin is already dried out. Clothes is drying out. Everything's drying up.
What are you doing right now?
I'm so hungry, I'm about to eat this crushed red pepper. Not very satisfying. Definitely spicy.
We're getting the large gondolier, which is basically like a supreme. For the second pizza, I'm insisting on the Philly's cheesesteak pizza on a white sauce. I'm gonna redeem my pizza status with this one.
You will be judged. You will be judged, my friend.
I love Philly pizza, so there's absolutely no way this is gonna go wrong for me.
One thing I like is how gigantic this table is.
This is a great booth.
Sorry. Just put something.
Oh, go.
Ow, that's really hot too.
Oh, be careful. I don't gotta get that pizza mouth. You don't want to ruin the rest of the experience. Ooh, yeah, Zatsky sauce. Delicious. My favorite.
What is this?
Zatsky sauce.
You just dink yourself?
Okay.
This a mushroom?
Yeah.
Zatsky sauce.
It's like, I know Andrew's the mushroom expert around here. Come on, you can tell what a fried mushroom looks like. One of each, I think.
That Philly cheese pizza was a good call.
Redeemed? Is he redeemed?
I think I am.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Andrew ordered a pizza with barbecue sauce, cheese, broccoli, and onions.
That doesn't sound terrible, though.
Say that again?
That doesn't sound terrible. It could have been terrible, don't get me wrong. Like, there's 1.5 million different kinds of barbecue sauce. But this is good.
It's like that Shigeru Miyamoto meme. Like, say that again.
And just like, validate me more. The gondolier is good. The Philly cheese is better.
This is the quickest we've gotten full from a post-hike meal.
I got part way into my second piece, and I was like, I don't want to finish this. It felt really weird, like I was so hungry just 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Fried foods and soda to fill you up fast.
It's true.
Feels good, man. All right. See you when I see you.
Why is this so awkward? Right. I guess maybe we'll just do this.
Bryan.
Oh god, that took a lot of air.
All right, see you later.
All right, see you guys later. Yeah, good seeing you again, man. You too.
I'll if not soon.
Yeah. See you around.
Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Gavin Ryan Show!
everybody. It's my co-host, Sunjan Huang. Richard Frangiamore's in the news. Have you heard this? Richard Frangiamore's in the news. Where's that guy from? Italy? Bryan Kitsune is in the news. Where's that guy from? Japan?
All your jokes are the same.
You know what I don't get? No one's ever seen Elaine R. Anthony and James Rokitsky in the same room.
Boo!
You know what, Sinjan? I'm tired of your crap. All right, now it's time for our favorite segment, Stick Fight. Stick fight, stick fight, stick fight, stick fight, stick fight, stick fight, stick fight.
Stick fight.
Akuya Giosari sent us. Ah! Ow. Oh, sorry. I didn't think I actually hit you.
You just got stick fought, bro. Stick fight, stick fight.
You just got stick fought.
Hey guys, what are you up to?
Bryan and Katya Strong want to make a special shout out to Sierra on behalf of their dogs, Layla and Mr. Onyx. Thank you.
Oh, Bear Grylls, this right here is called a chair. A chair? Okay, this is a perfectly normal sized one for regular humans. Up here, you can see that it's dedicated to Joey and Mella. How's the phone? How's the phone? Come here. You see that in the distance, right there? That's called a snow troll. Now these snow trolls, they were found by Morgan and Rio Wanrich. You gotta be careful. You never know when they might come alive. This one's dead, don't worry. Its brains have been scooped out. Now come over here. We're gonna do a bit of bouldering. Now, my good friends David and Jennifer Dickerson, they taught me how to boulder. On closer inspection, this is not rock. This is something else entirely. I can do this. It's just, you gotta. And there really is nothing to it, other than a day's work for Bear Grylls. Right here, what we've got are some mushrooms. Getting closer, getting closer. This right here is called the Madeline Holly. It's not actually called that. Follow me.
TS would like to give a special shout out to Kevin Johnson of Midwest Woodcraft for his constant efforts for adventure and training. He'd also like to give a shout out to Adventure Archives for whatever we do, so thank you, TS. And a huge I love you, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to his wife Nikki, son Liam, and the rest of the Adventure Archive supporters. Here's to a great 2023.
John Trude of Rivia. Coincidence seeing you here. I actually need your help. I am Jason Bourgeois, and this is Charlie Joe's Tavern. But we have a monster that has been ravaging.
I've got some rare cards in Gwent. How about a round?
Well, now's not the time for Gwent. Witcher, we really need you to take care of this monster, and I can pay you handsomely.
How about some Gwent? I'm really itching to play.
Perhaps I'll ask the next Witcher that comes by.
Ah, John Trude of Rivia. Welcome to my humble abode. I am Jasper Caparota. There are those who call me Dandelion, but I am the bard of these parts.
How do you feel about a round of Gwent?
Oh, I don't really play Gwent.
I've got some rare cards.
How about a song? Toss a coin to your...
How about a game of Gwent?
Okay, I'll play a game of Gwent with you.
Alright, you always want to keep your peepers peeled for any danger that could lurk around the corner. Follow me. Now, under normal circumstances, you would just continue walking on this wide, safe trail. But that's not how Bear Grylls does things. Now only do this in an emergency situation. You can see the potholes right here. This is very precarious. We'll be okay though. Don't worry. My foot's stuck. I got it. Okay. Alright, we're good. Alright, now, the sky can be very interesting, but we gotta go check out these ground mushrooms. Now, the great mushroom hunters, Leon and Lou Lin, told me about this very special thing. It's called the Devil's Fingers. We can see a couple of them in the distance here. Very dangerous, very delicious, very beautiful. Alright, so this is called Clathrus arcari, also known as octopus stinkhorn, the devil's fingers, or rotting flesh. Come down here. You see right here, you can see a bug eating it. You see that? A bug. Alright, so to the local fly population, this is a delicacy. Well, you know what? They can keep their delicacies.
Alright everyone, I'm Jake Buer, and I'm here with my camera crew, Mary Sinkavage and Sue and Tom, and we're here looking for Largefoot. This is Finding Largefoot. Locals Bryan and Ossie Yamagata of Expedition Research LLC spotted a tall individual here at the San Juan 1 territory. Wait, I think I see something right over there.
Come on, Jay Raimundo, push it. Push it. Do you think Salvador Gonzalez over there became a 5-time winner of the Douglas Jackson contest by taking it easy? You need to push it. The greatest feeling you can get in the gym, or the most satisfying feeling you can get in the gym, is called the bump. Blood is rushing into your muscles. It feels like your skin is really tight and someone's blowing air into your muscles. It's a really satisfying feeling. It feels really different. For me, it's like as satisfying as hiking with Dan Vulcans and camping. So can you imagine how much in heaven I am in? I'm getting the feeling of camping at the gym. I'm getting the feeling of camping at home. I'm getting the feeling of camping backstage when I bump up, when I pose out in front of hundreds of people. I'm getting the same feeling of camping. I'm camping day and night. It's fantastic.
Alright, I'm in the jungle. There's all sorts of dangers. There was a puma just behind me. There's also coyotes and jaguars. Now, Bryan would like to wish a happy birthday to his wife, Teresa. You're gonna get a shot of the puma when it comes. If it starts attacking, just play dead. Alright, I'll see you back at the hotel. Good luck! Alright, as you can see, this is the ocean. The ocean holds all sorts of dangers. Sharks, crabs, spiders, but most importantly of all, the water. Now, if this was a Great Lake, I would have a watercraft from GreatLakesWatercraft.com. Now, many people accuse me of staying at a hotel when I film these episodes. That is absolutely untrue. As you can see, the danger here is very real. Alright, thank you for watching. I'm Bear Grylls. Oh, is that a wrap? Alright, great job everybody today. Alright, let's give a hand to our new cameraman, Christina Alvarez. Alright, great job. Alright, let's go get in the hot tub.
You could eat that whole bush if you were starving.
What is it?
That's that same sorrel tree.
Oh.